What is it, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some r/today I messed up. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too, as it all truly helps out our channel and you know that, right? And don't forget we're on podcast too now, so you can take me with you wherever you go. And if you want to be super awesome, you can support the channel by either clicking that join button below and joining the YouTube membership, or clicking over on Patreon and joining there where there's got different tiers and things like that. And a huge thank you to each and every one of you for being here today. The time out of your day is absolutely amazing, absolutely blows my mind. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Today's first story comes from Sushi Thief. Today I fucked up by eating a prize I won at a baby shower. Before the pandemic, I was invited to a baby shower. It was a co-ed baby shower, and I'm a man. There were some fun games and prizes given out. I managed to snag a prize for winning the diaper changing game, on dolls of course, since speed was necessary, which was a nice glass mug that had assorted candy and other things in there. Of those was one big green piece of candy that I've never seen before, but I didn't think much of it. I also didn't think much about the piece of paper that was in the top of the mug, that looked to be sort of thanks for attending type thing, so I tossed it. I came home and let it sit on top of my dresser and collect a bit of dust since I don't eat a lot of candy these days, but I occasionally take out a small piece or two. Well, recently I had a big sugar craving, so I decided to take out the big green candy piece. I took a sniff of it and it sort of had a green apple scent, which made sense. The texture was something similar to those types of pill candies that are made up from compressed powder, kind of like Smarties or bottle caps, but this thing was the size of a baseball at least, so I figured it was some kind of jawbreaker or something. It was in clear plastic with no description, but since it smelled fruity, I unwrapped the plastic and took a big lick. A feeling of absolute dread spread through my body as my tongue fizzled and sputtered with absolutely horrible flavour. It was like sour tartness mixed in with disappointment and fear. I quickly spat it out and went to wash my mouth out, throwing the green ball in the garbage. Today I spoke to my friend on the phone who helped organise the baby shower and had put together all the prizes. I told her that either the big green ball candy had gone bad or she purchased a bad batch, and asked what the heck it was supposed to be anyway. My friend grew really silent for a moment and said that was a bath bomb. She then proceeded to tell me that if I'd read the little paper insert that was in each cut prize that I'd neglected, it would have told me it was a bath bomb. I, of course, had never actually held a bath bomb before, let alone used one, but I know for sure now that they don't taste too great. Our next story comes from Ollie Doodle. Today I fucked up riding my bike too slow and getting stabbed. Warning, graphic. So on Friday I was on a solo mountain bike ride heading downhill. I'm still learning, so I'm pretty slow on switchbacks, which isn't very stable. I'm halfway through the turn and I'm not sure what I did, but with no warning I'm on the ground, tangled up on my bike, lift my bike up to see what the damage to my body is because I'm screaming in pain. There's a jagged hole the size of a quarter in my right leg, mid inner thigh. Blood is pouring out of it, and I know that's where my femoral artery is. I look at my bike and the entire brake pedal handle is covered in blood and gore. That means this hole is almost 3 inches deep. I have garbage insurance, so I hesitated, but I called 911. The dispatcher's trying to figure out where I am and helping me figure out what to use as a tourniquet. Meanwhile, the blood keeps coming in a steady stream as I try to take my shoes off and tie my calf-length socks together without rolling the wound in the dirt. Neither would have worked, but a shoelace could, I find out later. I must have put pressure on because my gloves are bloody, but I don't remember. 911 still doesn't understand where I am, and I'm sure I made no sense. 4 minutes into the 911 call, a jogger comes around the corner. I've never been more glad to see another person. I look up, talk to her, and ask her to call 911. Then I look back at my leg and the bleeding has significantly slowed. Relief washes over me, and I get really cold, which must have been shock, so I try to calm down. The jogger asks if she should stay, and I say no. Please go to the trailhead so they can find me. As she's leaving, I call my son, and since he doesn't understand my description either, I send a screenshot of my location, right before my improperly charged phone dies. NBD phone, because maybe 15 minutes after I'm bleeding out into the dirt. The paramedics come, they patch me up and determine nothing is broken. I didn't hit my head, etc. The second set of paramedics arrive when my son does and put together their brand new off-road gurney. It all balances on a giant wheel and was very stable a third of a mile to the ambulance. The paramedics and the jogger were so awesome and helped me stay calm and get out of shock. Thank you. The paramedics convinced me to take the ambulance instead of getting in my son's car because the wound is so serious. I'm glad I did, because in the hospital when they'd unwrap it and do anything, it would bleed again. I'm going to meet that $6,000 deductible now, so I accept my fate. The doctor orders a contrast dye CAT scan to rule out needing surgery on my femoral artery or vein. Turns out it was the vein, because the blood was pouring out instead of squirting. Thankfully, vascular system was great, so they deep cleaned the hole and he put a couple of stitches in. I thought I'd have double-digit stitches, but the doctor said it needs to close loosely because think of how much bacteria was on your brake and it needs to escape. I've been worried all weekend I might pop the wound open, but if it hasn't happened by now, I must be okay. I feel like someone took a roll of quarters and jammed them in my leg at a strange angle. My leg was complete dead weight to the point I had to use my hands to change position. I have a lot of stairs, so that's exciting with crutches. But this morning, I could lift my legs hand-free, so I think the muscle damage is temporary. I've looked at my bloody bike and tried to figure out the angle this stabbing would have been possible, but I can't. I just wonder how long it would take to erase the picture in my mind of all that blood pouring from my leg into the dirt. One comment below this said, must have been really painful. Ah dear, I can remember one story. I used to do downhill biking and that sort of stuff. I used to absolutely love it when I was a bit younger. And I remember coming down a hill once, saw this tree branch coming towards me, so I ducked and I slid on the floor on my chest and it took a layer of skin off my back as it scraped across my back and it sort of like rolled over like a tin can rolls over. It was disgusting, but it could have been a lot worse. So yeah, I know how downhill injuries can go. They can be pretty awful sometimes. Our next story is, today I fucked up by interrupting a slug orgy with my feet. I think I am legit traumatized from this. It happened last night. I own some rubber gardening clogs. I have dogs, so it is wise to always slip them on when venturing into the lawn. I also have a hammock. It is my happy place. Yesterday I slipped on my clogs, grabbed my book and pillow and headed for the hammock. I don't remember what caused me to rush inside, but I left everything, including the clogs, by the hammock. As I was heading to bed, I remembered I left the book out there, so I headed out to retrieve it. Reached the hammock, grabbed the book and slipped 1.5 of my feet quickly into the clogs for the trip back. I did not fully appreciate the risk I was taking. Then I felt something. Something slimy. Many slimy things. There were multiple slugs in both clogs. Sounds escaped my body I've never heard before. I tossed the clogs on the porch after a quick look to confirm. Holy yeah, a lot of slugs in those suckers. I hobble into the bathtub to rinse my feet and a whole grown slug comes off in the tub. One of my feet, the one that went all the way in, was coated in slime. It was hard to get off. I'm crying. I couldn't tell you the emotions I was feeling, but there were tears and noises. I grab a big wad of tissues, steel myself, and go out for the removal. I get through about 1.5 of the clogs, and there were so many slugs I need to go back in for more tissue. At that point my husband has crawled out of bed to see what on earth was happening. I tell him I think I need to throw the clogs away. I sobbed, why are there so many slugs in my shoes? I counted 7, not including the one that ended up in my tub, and at least the one I could still see in the toe of one of my clogs. There may have been more. He said they were probably mating and I interrupted their awesome orgy. I did not feel better. Husband laughed and told me he would handle it from there and hose them out. I don't know if I can ever wear them again, or maybe walk outside at night again. Now I've stepped on a slug barefoot before, but let me tell you, feeling that all over both your feet is worse than you would think from the experience of just one slug. It's an orders of magnitude thing, I guess. The clogs will be coming in at night now. I told my uncle about this in an email entitled, Last Night's Horror. He asked me if it was my or the slugs' horror because just imagine it from their perspective. They were just looking for a good time at the shoe orgy and now I probably have several traumatized garden slugs. Edit. I want to take a bath but I keep walking into the bathroom looking at the tub and I just can't do it. I keep seeing that slug going down the drain. Oh, I loved it when they said look at it from their perspective, just see the foot coming in like no. Oh god. Our next story is from Obvious Milk. Today I fucked up by breaking elevator etiquette at my relatively small office. I'm laughing so hard I had to share. The office where I work is a fairly small 6th floor building. I work on the 6th floor and take the elevator daily. The building owners are remodeling the elevators, so we are limited to just one. Add that to the social distancing rule, only allowing 2 people in at a time, and we often have lines forming to go up or down at certain times of the day. I normally stay in the office for lunch, but today I decided to order out. When I came back, there was luckily no elevator line, so I hopped right on. As the door started to close, I saw someone walking up, so quickly pressed the open doors button. Except, I didn't press the right button. Instead, I was unknowingly madly mashing the closed doors button as I made panicked eye contact with the man. Finally, as the doors closed, I realised what button I was actually pressing, and I started dying of laughter as the elevator started moving, allowing me to enjoy the rare one-person ride to the top. All I can picture is this lift suddenly taking off and the man stood there, and from the man's perspective it's hearing this laughing, this evil laughing as the elevator takes off. Ah, God. OP sounds like a proper maniac. Our next story is from The African 101. Today I fucked up by not checking my bee suit before opening a beehive. So this morning I got a call from my dad while he was at work to remind me I've got to check our bees to see if the new queen is laying. We recently hatched a new queen after an artificial split and need to know if she's mated yet. So I went outside to put my suit on and went about the inspection as I normally would. About halfway through the inspection, I hear a bee buzzing weirdly close to me. Then I see her, right in front of my nose, and she's angry. Before I could do anything, she landed and stung me right on the tip of my nose while I was holding a frame full of bees. Turns out I'd forgotten to make sure that my suit was properly zipped up and she had gotten in. Fast forward to half an hour later, my eye is swollen along with half of my face. Video called my doctor because I'd gone into anaphylaxis before because of bee stings, and she said I should be fine, but to call her again if my breathing becomes difficult or any other symptoms of anaphylaxis came along. I've also got a meeting at school tomorrow morning about going on to the next school year. If I don't attend, I might not move on to the next school year. Edit 1, no, it is not the queen that stung me, it was a worker. The queen is safe and sound. Edit 2, for those who want to see my swollen face, this is what it looks like today. Ouch. Edit 3, thanks to everyone who wished me luck with my meeting. It went really well and my eye can fully open again. Holy shit, man. Our next story is from BucksHill08. Today I fucked up by stumbling lost, sweaty, muddy, tits out into a middle school graduation. I, 32 female, got lost in my favourite hiking park. It's huge. I thought I was deep in the woods. I was pulling my 2 toddlers behind me in one of those cart things you can hitch on the back of a bike for kids to ride in. I rigged it like a stroller, but it got too hard to push, so I used the wrist strap and tied it to my back belt loop. I just climbed a huge hill 3 times, going back and forth. Lost. I tracked through a swamp and was covered in mud. Again, I thought I was deep in the park and hadn't seen another person all day. So, boob sweat is a thing. I ditched my bra and was wearing a loose tank with buttons all the way down the front. I undid them all. Was at a level of, fuck it, we're all gonna die here. GPS was not working. And then I stumbled into a field adjacent to the parking lot I'd never been before, into a crowd of 14-year-olds and their parents. Some had grad gowns. I had my tits flapping in the wind, my progeny hauled behind me, tied to my butt like the banana boat girl, and mud almost to my elbows. A nice gentleman offered me directions. I was less than half a mile from my car. Fuck my life. I was reading below and apparently as OP appeared out of these woods into this graduation, she heard someone go, "Oh shit." Oh god. Our next story is from Bargle Flagen. Today I fucked up by Snapchatting someone that I thought was my son, but wasn't. I'm 49 and new to Snapchat. Someone named Devon added me and I assumed it was my son since it's an uncommon spelling. His profile pic is a cartoon. I got a notification that he posted to his story. First time seeing that happen and I clicked on it. The first one was a close-up of his face without glasses and I saw he shaved his beard and left the mustache. The tag said, "Job interviews are the only thing that stresses me out." The second one was a pic of just the top of his head with his glasses back on and wearing a headset. The tag said, "That interview did not go well for me." I commented on the first snap and said, "Nice dick duster." For those of you who don't know, that's a nickname for mustaches because when someone with a stash gives you a blowy, it dusts your dick. Then I switched the text and said, "Your interview didn't go well. What interview? On your snap?" And I screenshotted the 2 snaps and texted them. My son said, "That's not me." And I freaked out, switched the snap and deleted him as a contact. Turns out that my son Devon used to work with this guy and he, in turn, worked with an older guy with my name and added me by mistake. So basically, this poor dude was stressed out about his interview and a random old fat man commented, "Nice dick duster," took 2 screenshots and deleted them. Oh god, I love that. And also, we have the text chat which I will show and you can read and pause at your own pleasure. Oh, that poor guy. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed these stories. I had a bit of extra time, so I thought I'd throw a "Today I Fucked Up" story out there. I hope you did enjoy them. If you did, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Much love guys. Take care now. Bye bye.